What is it that goes bump in the night? That scares us when we're alone, even though we know that there's no danger. That makes our flesh crawl and our bones chill. I'm Enygma, and tonight we explore that bump in the night. Growing up, we all had that one thing that scared the hell out of us. For me, growing up in Brooklyn as a young child, living in a one-bedroom apartment with my mother and my sister, I had this bust of E.T., that's right, from the movie, and it scared the hell out of me. It had these glass eyes that would follow me no matter where I went in the room. I used to have nightmares about it eating me and my sister. And I tried to throw it away. I really did. I mean, I would hide it, I would throw it in the garbage, but it would always end up on that shelf. Now, of course, I was too young to realize that it was my mother at the time that found my awful, terrible hiding places and just put it back up there. But that was my boogeyman. It scared me to the bones. And today we are going to explore more of that boogeyman. But really, what or who was your boogeyman? Please let us know in the comments below. And if you've been enjoying the channel so far, please hit that like and subscribe button right here and hit that bell to be notified when any new video is going to be coming up. The boogeyman has been terrorizing children since time began, lurking in every shadow and every blur in the corner of your eye. There's a ton more to tell, so stay a while and listen. Like you had a choice. Have you ever been walking alone and suddenly get that chill up your spine? What about sitting at home at night, alone, and hear the creak of the steps as if somebody's coming? What about that blur at the corner of your eye? Or right before the moment you fall asleep, you feel somebody lay down in bed even though nobody's there. As we grow, so do our fears and anxieties. Somehow they seem to morph over time with our personalities, and history has shown us just how powerful fear can truly be. But what happens when our fear surpasses the natural? What happens when we fear the unexplainable and creepy folklore beings such as the boogeyman take over? How has the boogeyman been able to stay prevalent throughout time? It's because society uses folklore, games, movies, and even human examples to personify the boogeyman, making this being evolve into somewhat a physical entity. And yet, the boogeyman has no specific appearance, and conceptions vary drastically from household to household and culture to culture. But it's most commonly depicted as either a masculine or androgynous monster, usually punishing children for misbehavior. A related creature or the boogeyman can be found in every culture, and yet it targets generally specific acts or general misbehavior, depending on what purpose needs serving, often based on a warning from the child's authority figures. Folk stories and fairy tales, creepy and dark as many of them are, have been used for centuries as a way to teach children morals, keep them in line behaviorally, and enforce the societal status quo. They usually serve as metaphors for larger ideas that are formulated into catchy stories and grabs kids' attention. Thus, the origin of the boogeyman. You may have even heard it called by some of its other names: Krampus, El Coco, Old Hag, and Baba Yaga, to name a few. Destination America, on its website, says almost every culture seems to have their own version of the creature. But one tie that binds is the use of the story as a tool to scare children into behaving. It's nearly impossible, though, to pin down the monster's exact origins. Mythology.net says that because the boogeyman has such a large global impact, it's difficult to determine which country first told the tales of this monster. One thing is for certain: the boogeyman loves to lurk in the shadows of the night, and its main victims are disobedient children who do not listen to their parents. From Stephen King's The Boogeyman. You can hear something moving in a stealthy way, but not too stealthy. because it wanted you to hear it, and always you'd be afraid that the noises might stop for a little while. And then there'd be a laugh right over your face, and breath of air like the stale cabbage on your face, and then hands on your throat. The boogeyman is a supernatural creature that will be forever in our fears, and like all legends, he, or perhaps it, will never be forgotten. The truth is, when I started this video this morning, I had a completely different idea of how this would go. I really wanted to focus more so on the scary aspect of the boogeyman and really try to tell a terrifying story. However, I really got overwhelmed and started thinking about it, talking about fear, and how fear is used to control. And then if you look at modern movies, you look at the boogeyman and it doesn't attack kids like the stories do. It's mostly young adults or adults, especially in Stephen King's The Boogeyman, which, to be honest with you, is one of the most frightening things I've ever read. That being said, I want to say to everybody that it's okay to be afraid. And in fact, when you look at a lot of these stories for this whole folklore thing that is supposed to meant to kind of provoke that fear and that thought of, hey, what if? Don't be afraid. It's okay. We're all here for each other. We're all here for support. And always remember that voice in the back of your head that might say that you're not good enough or that you can't do something. It's the boogeyman. And it's one that you can conquer. Always. I'm Enygma. Thanks for staying. Thanks for listening.